Good afternoon and welcome to the on-record portion of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Colleen King, and joining me today is Phillip Thorpe, the new Executive Director for United Way. How are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you.
So I guess I'll get right to the questions. You stepped in as Executive Director for United Way on January 17th. How is the job going now, about 2 months into it?
Well, I will tell you that it's a lot of fun. It's been very educational. It's been exciting to be able to work within different people in the community. I can see where there's a lot of areas that we can make some improvements on, and working very closely with my board of directors to make suggestions and to begin to make and shape the organization so that we can be making a bigger impact in the community.
You decided to come to Lexington to retire, and so my question to you would be, why were you interested in applying for the job for United Way?
Well, I had been retired for 6 months, taken the time off, and had seen the job ad, and I realized that it was might be an interesting job, would allow me to continue my life's work in public service and to make a difference. That's what I've done for my entire career as a civilian government employee as well as in the Army Reserve. And so it was just a normal extension to maybe get to know my community a little bit better and to make a difference.
You mentioned that you worked with the Army Reserve. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with that?
Yes, well, I'd been in the Army Reserve for 35 years upon my retirement, and I retired at the rank of Brigadier General. I spent, out of my last 5 years, I spent 4 of them on active duty. 2 of them was in Germany. When I was there, I was the Deputy Commanding General of the 21st Theater Support Command. That unit was the senior logistics headquarters for U.S. Army in Europe. And the last 2 years, I spent in the Pentagon as the Director of Strategy and Integration for the Army G4, which is the Army logistics piece.
You also, after you graduated, you had a job at the Army Reserve Corps of Engineers.
Well, actually, let me clarify.
Okay.
When I left school, I had an active duty commitment, and I spent 2 years on active duty. But I was fortunate enough that because I was an engineer officer, I was assigned to the Office of the Chief of Engineers in Washington, D.C. And so when I came off active duty, they offered me a job to work as a civilian in the Corps of Engineers. And so my first job as a civilian was in the Los Angeles district for the Corps of Engineers. And I spent 33 years in the civilian capacity with them.
You graduated from VMI. How do you feel about VMI now? How has it changed since you've been here?
Well, with every institution, there's change. And I would have to say that, you know, as my institution, my alumni has changed, clearly there are good things about the changes that have occurred. When I was a cadet, we were required to go into the military. You have options now that we didn't have. The fact that you're co-ed, or they're co-ed is another plus, because, you know, society isn't single gender, and the Army is not single gender. So you know, you learn to operate now in an environment that is more realistic as to what you'll find when you get out of school. So there's a lot of good things that have changed about it. But you know, we always say in VMI that it's never like the old Corps. So anyways.
I know VMI teaches leadership positions, and I guess my question to you would be, as a leader, as executive director, you're kind of a leader in a sense of United Way. So what exactly does your job entail on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I am the face of the United Way every day, and I interact with the public, I interact with government officials, I interact with our member agencies. Sometimes I interact with people in need, and I try to direct them to where they can go. My job is very comprehensive in that you know, I manage the office, but also look at what we've done in the past and what we're going to be doing in the future, and come up with plans and strategies on how we can best serve the community as we continue to gather resources, and resources in terms of both money and volunteer assistance. So it's trying to bring all that together, and then, because I work for a board of directors, present that to the board of directors for their approval. But in many cases, I have a lot of authority to execute and do things that need to be done on a day-to-day basis, and I oversee the day-to-day operations of the organization.
Since you stepped in as a director, United Way has expanded to take over Buena Vista. Can you tell me a little bit about that expansion?
Well, that occurred with a vote of the board of directors in February, and it's the right thing to do, and that's why the board made that decision. It now allows us, as the United Way, to encompass the entire Rockbridge area and not exclude one part of the community. Doing that, it also required us to change our name. We are no longer the United Way of Lexington, Rockbridge County, but we're now the United Way of Rockbridge, so that our name reflects truly what our service incorporates. It gives us the opportunity to better serve the entire community, and I think more appropriately to do so. So I think it's a very positive move forward.
This United Way is one of the smaller United Ways nationally. What challenges do you face in dealing with a smaller community?
Well, let me correct something. We're small, but we're not the smallest.
Right.
United Way is made up of approximately 1,300 organizations across the country, and United Way ranks them in terms of what they call metro levels. We're a level 7, but they're actually a level 9. So there are 2 levels below us and many levels above us. Being a small United Way really is a function of what resources you have at your disposal to make an impact. We're in a county and in an area that has a great deal of need. We have unemployment, we have people suffering from poverty, we have people suffering from homelessness. So, how do you get and gather together the resources needed to meet those needs? It's a very difficult challenge, but we're a function of the community that we serve. So we're a small community. I mean, if you compare the population of Rockbridge County to perhaps the population of another city, such as Waynesboro, we're barely as big as Waynesboro in population, but much broader in area, and makes it harder to provide services.
Have you had any particular experiences since you've taken this job that have made you see Rockbridge County, Lexington, or BV in a different way?
Well, I would say that I feel to some degree I'm coming home, because I went to school here and only visited from time to time. I certainly look at Rockbridge now as my home, because having moved into the county last year, that's my last move I'm ever making, so I really want to take on the persona of this community. I've had an opportunity to meet and speak with a lot of people that I never probably would have talked to, and if I didn't have this job, it's given me some opportunities to help people, and I think that will continue. So,
what do you hope to change for United Way?
Well, there's a lot of things that I think we could do. I think one of the things I'd like to change is our focus on creating successful programs, as opposed to providing direct impact to agencies. It's sort of a big change that's occurring across all of the United Ways in America, and we have not made that change yet, but I think that's something that's going to be forthcoming. I also hope to be able to bring us into the 21st century. We're not completely on the internet. We have a website, but we haven't had an opportunity yet to open up a Facebook site or get on Twitter. So there's a lot of technology challenges that I'm faced with that are exciting to take on.
United Way brings in money and then delegates it to other organizations. Can you explain the allocation process there?
Well, I think what I would say, first of all, is we do an assessment of what the needs of the community are. And based on those needs, we estimate what we think the funding that needs to be raised for that following year. We invite any agency that's a nonprofit agency who wants to get some funding from us to submit an application, and we go through an extensive review of that agency and of their application. Now, that review is done by what we call a community review team, and it's made up of usually one of our board members and somebody else from the community. So it gives members of the community an opportunity to become part of the process, and that's a very critical aspect of what we do. Once that review team looks at the application, they go do a site visit of the agency. They ask the agency a multitude of questions to gather more information. They then compile a report and then present that to our allocation committee. Our allocation committee then takes all of those reports together, puts together what they think are the needs of the community, and submits that to our board of directors for approval. And upon their approval, we have now set our goal and our challenge for ourselves to try to meet the community's needs.
You said you wanted to retire in this community, and you came back and you did retire in this community. What do you do in your leisure time when you aren't working as executive director?
Well, as I told you, I have a new house, so I spend a lot of time in the yard. We're doing plantings. I just put in a garden, so we're hoping to grow some vegetables and trying to grow grass, because last year when I first moved into my house, we were in a drought and didn't get much grass to grow. So that's predominantly what occupies my time right now.
That's all we have for you today. Thanks for joining the on-record portion of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Colleen King. Have a nice night.